Well, another must-win loss, unfortunately, for the Padres. And they had all the motivation in the world. We talked about this last night. Like, if you can't win a series against the Pirates after your captain gets beamed in game 2 and you come out flat, then, like, do they really even have any choice other than to sell? I mean, we've talked about this now for weeks on end, but let's talk about it tonight. Padres lose another series to the Pirates. They went 1-5 against the Pirates this year. The Pirates are awful, and they went 1-5 against the Pirates this year. So if you're here, subscribe. Okay, we have year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Do not allow AJ Preller to trade for pitchers like Lucas Giolito, which he's trying to do at this hour. Thank the Lord that the Angels landed him, not the Padres. If you want to make sure we see your comment, click the $sign below the chat box. We do appreciate your support. We will get to all of your questions and comments. If they are super chats, click the $sign below the chat box. We really do appreciate that. And if you'd like to become a member, get emojis and badges, you can click the join button down below. Just another frustrating day. I don't know if you want us to kick and scream about today. They were, lifeless. 2 runs in this game at every opportunity in the world, Jim, in the 9th inning. They lose. They lose a little bit of ground in the National League wildcard race. They're 6.5 games out. Writing's on the wall, 59 to play. And, I mean, I think it's selling season. I don't know if AJ Preller agrees, but I think it's selling season.
Dude, as soon as I saw this report from Joel Sherman, like literally within the last 20 minutes,
right,
that one of the teams that was going after Lucas Giolito were the Padres. Fuck, I lost my shit. I was
Why?
like, are you kidding me right now? This guy is so delusional that he thinks that just by tripling down, everything's gonna be saved. Like, what are we doing here?
Right, like put the phone down.
Like, AJ, stop. Okay, the only calls that you're taking are not for like trading away Jackson Merrill, but for like, hey, what do you got to offer for Blake Snell?
Right, like Lucas Giolito isn't on your team. If you had him, you should be trading him. You shouldn't be acquiring a rental. 5 games under 500, 6.5 games out with 59 games to play.
He can't help himself, dude. This man cannot help himself. He is in delusion land at this point. It feels like really, like that signals to me more than anything that he ain't trading Snell and he ain't trading Hader.
I mean, do we fully believe this report? I mean, when were they going after Giolito? Was it 7 days ago? Was it today?
Dude, 7 days ago, John, they were still, let me think, 6 games back of a wild card spot.
Okay, definitive sign that the Angels are going for it and not trading Ohtani. This is Joel Sherman 40 minutes ago. White Sox had lots of interest in Giolito, including from the Padres. God. It's almost like he put that in there just to like mess with us.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm just going to fuck with the fans.
Let me go mess with Padres fans because why would they have any interest? I mean, there are 4. Listen to this, guys. And because we've talked about this so much, this is now a factual statement. The Padres definitively will be under 500 when the trade deadline passes. There are 4 games left. There are 5 games under 500. They haven't had a 4-game winning streak all year. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They'll still be under 500, even if they sweep the Rangers and win game 1 in Colorado. Assuming they don't do that because they haven't done it all year, they're 3+ games under 500. There'll be 54 games left. That's 1/3 of the season, 2/3 in the books. You have to pass 3+ teams, including 2+ teams that are 6 games better than you. It's like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, they're not showing me that they're a team that is capable of chasing down teams in front of them. I mean, they're not capable of playing 500 baseball. They're under 500 since the All-Star break, right, Jim? They've given no reason for the front office to buy. None. Yet the front office wants to buy. And that's why I still think they'll sell. I mean, I still believe they'll sell.
I do too. By the way, I'm gonna call this idiot out on right now. Pooch Aguilar, you're a fucking idiot.
Dude,
on Twitter.
Relax.
Aguilar Pooch. You're an idiot. Okay. Anyway. What were you saying about selling?
Yeah, I said that, I mean, it's like, in what alternate universe with UFOs are we living to consider anything other than Selling, because by the way, selling is not like you might say, you might be saying, "Oh my gosh, that's waving the white flag. They're going to draw 3 million fans, so they can't make the postseason." Well, it's going to be hard to make the postseason either way. And I would tell you, 2024 matters, and that by selling, you can really put yourself in a position where you're getting off on the right foot. I mean, if you're not going to have Blake Snell and Josh Hader and Seth Lugo, regardless in 2024, why not get like real returns? Like Blake Snell is going to command a real return, and I mean, you either get like 10 or 11 starts out of Blake Snell, or you trade him and get guys that could impact your organization for like the next half decade. I don't think it's much of a decision, personally.
So, Lucas Giolito tonight, the White Sox got what? The Angels' second and third third ranked prospects,
Right. Seller's market.
in right now. Lucas Giolito, who let me look.
No, he's good.
Okay, what's he doing this year?
I think he's had a nice year.
Giolito. Okay, he's 6-6 with a 3.79 ERA.
Yeah, 131 strikeouts, 121 innings, 1.2 WHIP. I mean, that's very solid for a very bad team.
Very solid. But
Yeah.
my point, he's not having the year Blake Snell's having.
Correct.
Blake Snell is having a Cy Young year. If
Mhm.
Lucas Giolito is going to net an organization's second and third ranked prospects, you could probably get someone's top ranked prospect right now for Blake Snell.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely getting, you could 2 top 10s, clearly. I mean, maybe 3 top 10s.
But potentially
2 or 3 top 10s in
you
an
could
organization.
you could probably get someone's first and like fifth ranked prospects or fourth.
Yeah, I mean, you could get, yes, a
You can
real
get a- you
return.
can
Now,
get-
you got to
you can
trade
get a-
Gary Sanchez with him, since that's like turned his season around, but who cares?
Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Right.
You have Campisano, give him every single opportunity you possibly can be on the plate, and then bring up whoever else. It doesn't matter. I'll bring back Nola. Who gives a shit? So yeah, you could net a lot for Snell, and you could also net a lot for Hader. The problem is,
been my point.
I know it is, and we all agree here. I think everybody in the chat. Tell me if you guys don't agree in the chat. Like, tell me if you don't want the Padres to trade Snell and Hader. Put in the chat right now. Just say yes, you do, or no, you don't. Put in the chat yes if you want AJ Preller to trade Snell and Hader, and put no in the chat if you don't want them to trade Snell or Hader.
Well, let me start a poll.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Should the Padres trade both Snell and Hader? Yes, no.
Mm-hmm.
Ask your community. Community, you've been asked.
I mean, you can get a pretty good haul for those two guys. And if right now you're going out and trying to get Lucas fucking Giolito for like Jackson Merrill or some bullshit, I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, right. Don't do that, AJ. Is the I mean, come on, and don't give me. Well, we were going to get Giolito, and we're going to move Snell. Stop. I mean,
what?
For
That's
what
even
purpose?
dumber.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing that. But Scott, thank you for the very generous super. We're going to get to all the supers tonight. If you're here, subscribe. If you're here, we appreciate your support with the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box, like our buddy Scott, who says, hear me out. Do you think Machado is a leader? Historically, he's a clubhouse problem. I'm not blaming Machado for everything, but could his attitude be part of the problem? I mean, could his attitude be part of the problem? I think that's fair. We could ask a lot of questions about this team. I mean, not to put it on Machado, but could it? Is it possible? I mean, why wouldn't it be possible? That's open to interpretation. He's typically been a guy, when it's going really good, he carries his team in that direction. And when it's not going very well, the team unfortunately follows his, narrative and performance as well. And he hasn't had a good year. He's had a very good month. He has not had a good year. He's had a very good month. So I'm not saying it's accurate, but I'm not going to discount it either.
I think if you ask a lot of former players that played with Manny, I think a lot of players would love him or say that they love him. Like they loved playing with Manny Machado. I think you just look at last year. He was the leader of the team last year, and the team went to the NLCS.
Right.
I don't think it's a thing of, is Manny a bad leader? I think it's a thing of that we talked about today, and we've talked about it a lot. And you kind of were the first one to like, what's going on here? You just have a bunch of alphas in one room, and that's just probably going to fuck things up. Like you have Bogarts, it was his team in Boston. Okay. Even though Devers was the better player, it was his team in Boston. And then the same thing with Washington. Soto was the best player on that team. That was his team. Even at 20 years old, like that was his team. Everyone knew that's the guy because he's the best player we have. His talent is insane. Tatis, when he was here in 2021, like he was the best player in 2021. Okay. He was the guy that was third in MVP voting that year. He was driving the team and then everything went to shit. But like you could say that year, Tatis was the best player on that team. Then last year, Soto or Machado's by himself. He's the best player on that team. The team's good. You add all these pieces together. Who says that's going to work out? And these are real life. These are real people. This isn't like a video game. So I don't think Manny's a bad leader. I just think that the combination of alphas in the room have played a factor in this season in a big way.
And I also think this, and this is like a lot of, this is like a lot of life. If they had gotten off to a really good start, maybe this thing's rolling.
Yeah.
If they started 10-3 and never looked back, then maybe it all works. But they didn't. And the longer they didn't, and the longer they pressed, and the longer they didn't hit with men in scoring position, the more it became an issue, and the more it's become an issue. And they've had countless opportunities to turn their season around, and it's like the refusal. It's like they've had a refusal to do it. With the latest example being today at home against Pittsburgh. You have a home game against Pittsburgh after your leader was plunked yesterday. It nearly starts a benches clearing brawl. It's all the motivation you should possibly need, not to mention your season's on the line regardless of whether your leader was beamed yesterday. And you're lifeless against a very average starter. And it's just, come on. I don't even need to say it because you guys all understand it and see it. And it's really inexcusable the way they've performed, and there's no reason to believe it's going to change. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, not to say it's impossible, but there's no reason to believe that it's going to change. Evan, thank you for the super. He says, hate to say it, but if Pete lets AJ drive this franchise further into the dirt, we might have an ownership problem. How can you look at this dumpster fire and think, quote unquote, excellence?
Yeah, man, we are pointing in that direction where if this doesn't turn around, and I want to wait to see what Peter says after this season, because what's going to happen. If Peter talks in the next couple days, it's going to be ultimate optimism. There's no way he's going to go on to any interview in the next couple days with anybody and be like, yeah, we're selling and this team sucks and Preller's shit and I'm going to fire him at the end of the year. He's not going to do that.
No,
He's going to, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to be much more interested to hear what Peter says at the end of the year when this thing is officially done than anytime the rest of this year. So when you hear him talk, that will tell you all you need to know about the direction of the franchise. And I think if he maintains the course that AJ's excellence, if this thing does not turn around and they miss out on the postseason, then we have a problem.
Yeah, I'm not at the point in my criticism yet to be like, we got a problem with Peter Seidler. I'm just not there. Now, I'm not saying I won't get there, and I'm not saying he's, has no culpability. But I tend to kind of side with the guy that has spent more annually on the Padres than anyone ever has, and there's no close second. So I'm not saying he's perfect because no one really is, but
but also, John, it's great that he's spending money, but like, if you go out and if you're a millionaire and you go out and buy 3 Ferraris and like a couple Teslas and a big house,
it's great.
Broke, you're like, what? Like, oh, cool. I have all this money. I can buy shit. But at some point, the money spent has to be smart.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'll also say this. And if you eliminated AJ Preller from the equation and hired the assistant GM of the Miami Marlins, there's no assurance that all of a sudden the money will be spent in a better, manner. Ultimately, Peter Seidler has people responsible for making baseball operations decisions to his credit. Now, you could say he's too loyal to AJ Preller, and we could talk about that. That's fine. But I don't think we could just snap our fingers and be like, if it was any other GM, this money would be spent better.
No, I agree with you. I think, that's foolish to say. Like, oh, anybody could do a better job. Like, no, that's not it.
I mean, Brian Cashman's had big swings and misses. Now he's also won World Series, but it's been 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you can spend, you have big swings and misses. When you can spend like that,
that's just why. Like, I know last year happened, but if there was going to be a course correction, it had to have happened in 2021, and it's not going to happen now. I don't see it happening really anytime soon, unless next year is a disaster as well. Then it's like there's no other choice. But they're keeping their. I think they're going to stay the course. I really do.
I think they sell. What's the chat say before I get to Carlos?
You can look at it, can't you?
I don't know. The chat says 70% yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, 70% yes. What was the question again?
I don't even know, but don't end poll. Hold on. Should the Padres trade both Snell and Hader?
Oh, yeah.
We have over 100 votes. 70% say they should trade both right now. Let me get to Carlos. He says, and thank you, Carlos. Appreciate you hanging out. He says, selling's the move, but the return has zero guarantees that they will be impactful players next year. Haven't seen anything that indicates we sell from the front office next year. Closer problem and starting pitcher problem. I don't think you have a closer problem necessarily next year because of Robert Suarez, who you gave real money to. And in terms of a starting pitching issue, we said the same thing, I would say, coming out of 2021, coming out of 2022. I mean, Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha happened in the past offseason. Like, I'm not overly concerned about selling off a starter. To be honest, I'm not overly concerned about selling off two if they're both free agents at the end of the year. Points valid, no guarantee. But the other side of that coin, Carlos, and I know you agree, is like there's also no guarantee that you make no moves and then you make the postseason. I mean, that's going to be like a 1 in 10. So what if you make no moves, don't make the postseason, and let these players walk for nothing? Is that a better option? I don't know. I personally don't think it is.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I have praised Preller before in doing is he has done a fantastic job in his tenure at finding closers, not entire bullpens, but closers. I can name off 5 at the top of my head, I think, right now that have all been fantastic for this team under Preller. And so if they don't re-sign Hader, which I think would be also foolish if you gave him $100 million, I think, the Robert Suarez as the closer next year is something I'd be okay with. The starting pitching, though, that I will agree. Like, that's a problem. That's going to be a situation where you got 2 guys right now under contract for next year, and one of them, I don't know about if he's going to be like steadily declining the rest of his career, or he's going to be back to maybe last year's form, and that's Yu Darvish. So I have faith in
just go opener. You just go opener.
Yeah.
For like 90 games. Thank you, Paul Allen, for taking a time out of your busy schedule to own the Seahawks to
thanks, Paul.
Give us this generous super.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so 9th inning, right? 3-1. They make it 3-2. They load the bases. Bednar against the lefties got me wondering if he has reverse split. So should let Sanchez bat and pinch Soto for however you say the guy's name, Colway, whatever it is.
Who cares?
I have no clue. Check out Bednar's splits, whatever it is. You want me to check out Bednar's splits? I will. I wouldn't say it's a little bit of a reverse split, but nobody hits him. So righties 582 OPS, lefties 431 OPS. I don't feel great against David Bednar.
They had no one on their bench.
And here's the other thing. David Bednar, when the Pirates have led going into the 9th inning this year, they're undefeated, which is really impressive. And David Bednar got out of a spot. I don't think it's because Juan Soto walked. I think it's because the Padres have no bench, to your point. Yeah. I mean, you could have waited on Soto, by the way, and guess what? Then whomever was batting in Soto's spot could have grounded into a double play, and then Soto never even gets a plate appearance.
Yep. I was just
and
thinking
then what would we have said? What would we – Bob Melvin would have been exactly –
Destroyed.
And then everyone was, not everyone, but there are people saying, you got to expand your zone. You got to swing in that spot if you're Juan Soto. No, you don't. I mean, now you got to go do something you don't want to do because the guy's not pitching to you. Just because because the other guys aren't going to come through, you need to go do something because they're not going to come through. Like, come on.
Dude, every pitch was like 7 inches off the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the fuck?
So what if he grinds into a double play? Are we going to feel good about that? Well, he had to because the guys on deck aren't good. No, it's Major League Baseball. You got to move the line, and the guys got to produce.
If Soto took 2 strikes down the middle and it was 3-2 and then he ended up walking, or like
or
that's one thing. 4 straight balls, not even close.
They were all bad pitches because he didn't want to face him, and he thought he had a better chance of winning the game by putting him on, even with the bases loaded. And he was right.
And guess what? He was right.
Yeah, he was spot on.
I have after we get the super chat, I have a great chat or comment in the chat that we need to get to. You'll love it.
Brian, thank you. He says if AJ doesn't sell something, something is seriously wrong. This isn't a playoff team. I think he's going to sell something, Jim. I mean, even standing pat and like moving Seth Lugo, you'd be like, well, okay, you got rid of a part and he brought back a top 30 prospect.
What does that accomplish?
Well, nothing. It's just you realize that, you could still do something without Seth Lugo, but,
Like, oh, cool. We got a top 30 or 40 prospect for Seth Lugo.
Correct.
Congratulations. World Series next year.
Correct.
Okay.
What do you got?
Oh, you want me to pull this up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. From Pedro. Got to call John and Jim out. They drove the season or an early propaganda and now want to sell. This was a 1-of-1 season. Next year, Soto's gone. So all in this year.
Pedro likes to get under her skin, but wait, I don't even really understand it. Call John and Jim out. They drove this season.
Is early propaganda. And now
early propaganda
want to sell in this 1-of-1 season. Next year, Soto is gone. So go all in this year.
Well, hold on.
Or my first time writing.
No, we didn't. I literally remember saying in like April, like this team has a problem. So I don't recall saying early, like this team is it. In fact, I've never said that.
Also,
ever.
And I got an argument on some loser on Twitter about this tonight. Nobody before this season, and if they did, they're either just a hater or they're a troll, thought that this Padres team going into game 1 of the year, even after they lost game 1 of the year, that they were going to not be a playoff team.
Right, or be under 500. Nobody thought that.
And sorry, like, oh my God, hot take. I thought this team was going to be a playoff team before this year.
Yeah, that's not
propaganda, bro. That's just like giving an opinion.
Right. Pedro thought the same thing. And here's the other thing, Pedro, who says Soto's gone next year, so go all in this year. They did. Guess what happened? They lost all their chips.
You want to know what
propaganda went all in?
You want to know what propaganda is? Propaganda is when this team's losing 8-4. I throw up on the screen during a broadcast that this team is 3rd in the league since 2020 in walk percentage rate.
Yeah, but
that's propaganda.
I mean, but it's the rights holder. I mean,
no, I know. I'm just educating Pedro on what propaganda is. That's
right. All. No, I mean, go all in this year. They did. I agree. They should. Guess what? It didn't work. Sorry. Try again next year. That's the way I look at it. Because what are you going to go chase down? 5th place in the wild card standings? Is that better than 6th? I don't think so.
People are mad, dude.
Scott, thank you for the super. He says, if Melvin is gone, what do you think about hiring Benji Kill as manager? San Diego native. He did a great job managing Mexico in the WBC. Thoughts? I have no idea.
My head is not even there yet.
Yeah, listen, I don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't have many thoughts on it. I really don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what direction they're going to go if Melvin walks away, if he's forced out. I think it's definitely a possibility. I think he could walk away. I think he could be forced out. I don't think he comes back as a lame duck manager, by the way. I think he's either extended or doesn't return.
Right.
Would be my guess. And you know what? There's probably suitable candidates. And they may get it right. They may get it wrong. They've gotten it wrong previously, So, it's not like Bob Melvin's the only manager that could possibly, put the Padres in position. So, yeah, maybe there's a better option out there. And, yeah, obviously AJ Preller's had some struggles in the area, but I don't know what to say. I have no idea.
It's just maddening to watch this happen.
Like John maddening?
Yes. Like John maddening.
Yeah. No, it's kind of maddening. Let me get back to Carlos. Thanks, guys, for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. Please subscribe if you're here. You're on content, good days and bad days. There's been more of the latter than the former recently. Carlos, thank you. He says, I kind of get the idea of buying. Hate being this optimistic because the wild card is so weak that a hot streak get you in. The optics of selling is bad, especially if we're trying to re-sign Soto / sign Ohtani. I like this comment, and here's why. That, I always say fool's gold on this. It's almost like it's a bit of a mirage when you look at the standings, because you look at the wild card standings, you say, you know what? 6.5 games is a lot, but it's not 10 games. You say, well, 6.5 games with 59 to play. You know what? It's possible. And that I would agree with that sentiment and take, until you realize you have to pass 4 teams to get in. A combination, you have to pass 4 of these 6 teams. San Francisco, 7 games better than you. Philadelphia, 6.5. Cincinnati, 6.5. Arizona, 6. Miami, 6. Chicago, 2. You have to pass 4 of those 6 teams, 5 of which are 6 games or better than you.
So all those teams have to play like shit.
That's the thing. You could literally close right now 59, 40 and 19, better than 667 baseball. What is that? 675 or better.
40 and 19.
And there's no guarantee 40 and 19 is good enough to pass 4 of those teams. You might pass 3 and still be on the outside. That would be 89 wins. Now, I think you'd be in, but there is no guarantee. And that's why, for me, it's a mirage. If you're passing one team and you think that team isn't good, or they've lost 7 straight and you want to go for it, okay. Try your luck at craps. I understand it, but this is like, this to me mathematically isn't adding up. And that's why, and I think they realize that as well. And that's why, for me, it's a tough like angle to pursue.
And, this is the type of thinking I believe, especially after seeing tonight's reports about them going after Lucas Giolito, I believe this is Preller's thinking, that he is looking at the National League wild card race and thinking to himself that every single team around them
is going to come back to earth.
Yes. And that they are still due for a hot streak. That's why I think that they're not going to trade Snell and they're not going to trade Hader, and they possibly could go out and look for a starting pitcher and a DH bat. Like, especially after the reports tonight about Lucas Giolito, that just kind of confirms it for me, just for me.
But the other thing I'll say, and it is baseball, it's hard to be like, they have the easiest schedule ever. I get it. Every team plays every team now. So it's not like any team is going to have this like cakewalk on their way in, or any team's going to have like the most impossible schedule in baseball history. That's probably not how it works. But if I were to grade the Padres schedule, and by the way, they're capable of losing to everyone. They've lost to the Pirates, Royals, and Nationals at home in a series this year. But if I was grading the Padres schedule, I wouldn't call it easy. Games against the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks and the Giants and the Orioles. Right? I mean, there's even good teams I think are going to get tripped up a little bit. There isn't a team in baseball, correct me if I'm wrong, that has played 675 baseball this year.
Not even the Braves.
So they need to play. Now, again, 675, I'm not asking them to do it for the year, but I'm asking them to play 675 baseball for 60 games, which is better than they did in the 60-game season when they were really good. So, I mean, you have to ask yourself, is that possible?
I mean, you got 2 more series with the Dodgers. You got a series with Baltimore, who's the best team in the AL East. You go on the road against Milwaukee and St. Louis still. You're taking on the Phillies again, the Giants for a couple more series. Houston in Houston.
Right. I mean, they're going to win one of those series, and they're going to lose one of those series. I mean, they beat Tampa in a series. I'm not saying it's the worst team in baseball. I'm just saying they haven't given us a lot of faith.
The only team that's like really good that they've beaten in a series,
right? Since Atlanta in April, when they won 3 or 4.
Exactly, since Atlanta in April.
And that was a really, I mean, when you look at Atlanta's year, that's a pretty impressive series win. But unfortunately, it's the aberration.
Yeah, just man.
All right, run it back. Thank you. And this is where, for me, it's all hindsight. Bomel not putting in Carp for the rookie. Yeah. Typical. Carpenter has been awful.
Right. If Carpenter went in there and he struck out or popped up,
it would have been a double play.
You would have said the exact same. Why not? Why didn't Bomel put in the rookie instead of Carp? Like, it's all hindsight.
It's like they don't have good bench options, unfortunately, and that's not on Bob Melvin.
Yeah. What Darnay said, unless you have it in writing that you said this before it happened, you can't say it.
Okay, because that's how social media works, right?
I know. I'm just fucking kidding.
Alejandro, thank you. Is there a trade in the Preller era where the Padres were true winners other than Hader, Bednar, France, Munoz, Naylor. Well, yeah, certainly Fernando Tatis Jr. Is one of the great trades in Padres history, probably a top 15 trade in baseball history. So he has wins and he's got a lot of losses too.
A lot of losses. I think Blake Snell is a win.
I think Joe Musgrove's a win.
I think Joe Musgrove's a massive win. I think Yu Darvish is a massive win. Yeah, there's been
both ways.
Both ways.
Okay, let's get back to the supers. Thank you guys for hanging out. Please subscribe. Appreciate the love with the supers. Click the $sign below the chat box. We'll get to all of the supers. I see you, Carlos. I see you guys. We'll get you in a moment. Do want to remind you about our title sponsor because we can't do this without the support of Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Our title sponsor has been with us since literally day one. We can't do it without you guys that are here each and every night, live or on replay, or without the support of our partners like our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz. We'll save you a lot of money on your insurance. It's as simple as that. I've got a homeowner's, earthquake, and life insurance policy through Mark, and he's a great insurance agent. So it's not just about saving money. He's going to save you time, and he's going to save you a lot of headaches if you go with Mark. And we had to file a claim in 2022. We had a flood. It would have been a disaster. And he took care of everything. He had us out of our house for 2 weeks, and he took care of everything. And then we moved back in 2 weeks later. We have this brand new flooring that my dog is sleeping on right now. So he's a great insurance agent. You can click the link in the description down below to get to his website on screen. You can get quotes online for free. You can call him. He'll talk to you about the Padres. And he'll save you money on your insurance, $750 or more. So the next time you have a renewal, before you renew, call Mark. The next time you're looking for insurance information, get in contact with our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information is above my head. He's a 5-star insurance agent. Sorry. He's just passed the century mark as far as reviews go. 5 out of 5 stars. He's the man to go to. Nimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
All right, Mark, thank you. And again, click the link in the description down below. Save money on your insurance. Support this channel. Support a San Diegan. Carlos, thank you again. So he agrees with what we're saying, but there are no guarantees in selling either. Those wildcard teams are playing horrible right now. Now, two, and you just need one of them to implode to make a run. Talent on team is superior and deadline pieces. Okay, hear me out real quick, Carlos. You know I love you. Let's say Arizona goes in the tank. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's say Arizona finishes under 500. Very possible. They're 55 and 48. Let's say they only win 76 games this year. Guess what? You still have to pass Miami, Cincinnati. Out of the Miami, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, San Francisco, you'd have to pass 2.
Chicago.
Plus the Cubs. So one team imploding does nothing. And here's the other thing about these teams playing horrible. Padres in their last 10 are 5-5. These are the teams in front of them in the wild card. Chicago 7-3. You've lost games on. Miami 2-8. You've made up 3 games. Arizona 3-7. You've made up 2 games. Cincinnati 6-4. You've lost a game. Philadelphia 5-5. You've gained no ground. San Francisco 4-6. You've gained 1 game. My point is there's 6 teams in front of you. 3 of the teams you haven't made up any ground on. 3 of the teams you have, but one of them by 1 game. Like what I'm saying is the Padres haven't been world beaters either. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're under 500 since the All-Star break. So all of the evidence is pointing to this is going to be hard. Not impossible, but hard.
Right. And I see Rich in the chat. He's saying Giants suck, Cubs suck, Marlins suck. You know who also sucks? The Padres.
That's the thing. They just lost to the Pirates again.
So everybody sucks. Like they're not on this trajectory that they don't have a winning record since the All-Star break. They're 6-7. Like I mean, they had a golden opportunity today to give you some hope.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
I agree.
Albeit it would still
it wouldn't have made the season.
No, it wouldn't have made the season. But I mean, a potential walk-off win that they've had only one of this year. You don't think that helps?
So let's just do the exercise of the upcoming series. Rangers really good, Rockies really bad. Okay,
but they haven't swept Colorado in like forever.
But whatever, just give them the benefit. One really good team, one really bad team cancels each other out.
Yeah.
Dodgers really good team. Seattle on the road, not easy.
but they're above 500 now,
Right.
and they're in the thick of the wild card chase.
Exactly. Arizona on the road, not easy.
Nope.
Baltimore at home, Arizona at home, Miami at home. Like they're the only quote unquote gimme, and we've seen them lose series to gimmies, is Colorado on the road. Your next like 6 or 7 series, even through that, Milwaukee on the road,
St. Louis on the road,
St. Louis on the road. You get my
back
point.
home with
San
the Giants,
Francisco at home,
Dodgers,
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
I'll give you 3 gimme series. By the way, they're batting gimme series, but I'll just give it to them. Colorado, Oakland, White Sox. Gimme series.
Yeah.
But they don't even play well in those. But even if you said they win all those series, what about all these other series?
Yeah, they have a
It's not easy
schedule, man. And I said September was brutal. August might be the worst month of the year as of right now because of how those teams are.
Yeah.
I mean, you're once you get past Colorado here, dude, you don't have a quote unquote easy series until the second week of September versus Oakland.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's like the 3rd week. Yeah. I mean, September 15th. Yeah.
So from August 3rd to September 15th, you don't have any layups, and they suck in layup games.
Right.
In series.
Right. So maybe it's better to play good teams.
Maybe, but they haven't proven it yet. Like even against good teams, they're not good. You know, like it'd be one thing if they had a really good record versus winning teams this year and they had a really bad record versus losing teams, then you'd be like, cool. They play up to their competition, and maybe it's a good thing that they're playing all really good teams for the next month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe. They don't do well against anybody.
Well, that's the thing. That's the part that's tough. Carlos, thank you again. Really do appreciate you hanging out. He says, let me be clear. I'm not saying that we should go for it, but I understand the point of view of the front office. Selling rental pieces won't guarantee anything in 2024, and that's fine. It doesn't. But also not selling anything does. I think it's harder. It's harder for me to envision them winning in 2024 by holding on than selling off, if that makes sense. I just think you put the franchise in a better spot moving forward by getting legitimate returns for players that won't be here. Now, but you're right. There's no guarantee. He's spot on. There's no guarantee.
And if Preller thinks like legitimately my job is on the line here, then of course you're not trading Snell and Hader because you're going for it right now. Sure. That's why that's why you're going out and trying to get Lucas Giolito. But if Preller is as safe as I think he is, then you have to do what's best for the organization long term. And what's best for the organization long term is to see what you can get for Snell and Hader, which I think would be a fucking ton.
And you can say it's waving the white flag, or this is a soap opera, though. It never ends. I mean, don't you want to win a World Series in 2024 too? I mean,
yeah, it's not.
It's like you just gotta
the franchise
be honest sometimes
this year
with the situation. And by the way, even as crazy as it sounds, I mean, even moving Josh Hader, and I get it, it's gonna be hard to win a World Series without Josh Hader, but like, I don't know, you can move Josh Hader. It doesn't prevent the rest of the team from playing well.
Right.
Carlos, thanks again. He says, Miami, Cincinnati, the Cubs, that won't convince Preller to not go for it, huh? Those teams are going to take a step back, guaranteed. I meant they need a wild card to implode. I get it. I mean, some of these teams will take a step back. You're probably right. But, the other thing that you run a risk of happening, by the way, around you, and, I haven't even mentioned this, is that what if one of these teams just gets ultra hot?
Yeah.
What if St. Louis wins 10 straight?
Yeah.
They did in September of 2021. They won like 20 straight. Remember that?
Right. And the flip side is, what if the Padres get hot? Of course.
I agree. But I'm saying the math is if you have 7 or 8 teams around you and you're one team, the odds are the 7 or 8 other teams, a few of those teams are going to be good. Maybe a few will be bad, but a few will be good.
Like, think about, like, I might be wrong on this math, so correct me if I'm wrong. If the Padres win their next 10 games and everybody in front of them goes 5-5, they still wouldn't be in playoff
game and a half out.
They still wouldn't be in a playoff position.
Now they'd be in a really good position.
They would.
49 games to play.
But I think like that to me is all you need to know about how good of baseball they need to play for the rest of the year. Is if they go 10-0 in the next 10 games and everyone in front of them just goes 5-5, you're still not in the playoffs position. Like, think about that.
But there'd be time. I mean, that's the problem with the baseball seasons are so long that you're always capable of going 9-1 and changing your season. But at what point you say, like, maybe it's not our year?
I know, but still, I'm just like, you need everyone in front of you to go 5-5.
Yeah, and they got work to do. You're right. I mean, they have real work to do. JD Gacho, thank you. He says Bentley, Aaron's dog, would have done better in the ninth than Grisham. Maybe.
Bentley would. Well, the thing with Grisham today is at least he struck out swinging. Because if you looked at a called third strike, man, I mean, why is Grisham still on this team? Does anybody know?
I mean, it's like, I don't know. I even feel bad tonight, like piling on anyone, to be honest, because it's just like it's all not good.
I know.
And it is what it is. And like getting rid of Grisham right now is not changing your, fortune.
Actually, I think he's been better of late. Just like
I think so.
He's susceptible to that horrible, just
strikeout.
crushing strikeout.
Yeah. No, I know. And like, is it his fault or is it the organization's fault for like relying on him so heavily the last 3 years without any market improvement?
Yeah.
If anything, he just hasn't performed, unfortunately, yet they throw him out there every day. Scott, thanks again. He says, I think you're right. An assumption was made that having big stars would translate to wins. What hope do we have for next year? How do you fix it? I mean, this is the $250 million question, Scott. Can you win with this core group? I mean, it seemed easy enough heading into the season. How could you not win with this core group? But they're going to have to get creative, Jim, right? I mean, this isn't like, hey, I mean, they got a lot of money tied up in 4, 5, 6 players, which means the other 20 players, they're not going to have as much money tied up in. Therefore, they need to hit on all those additional pieces beyond their core of, 6, 8, 9, 10 pieces.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Exactly. It's just, man.
Yeah, I mean, the big stars, I mean, I'd prefer it this way, to be honest. I'd rather see them try to win with names than, it's more fun, I think. I mean, I think it's more relatable. I think fans are why are there 45,000 people there a night? Not because of their really good farm system, because of Juan Soto and Manny Machado. I mean,
they want to see star players. The Padres have star players. The problem is these star players don't gel well together.
Yeah, and haven't had amazing years. There's guys that have nice years, but nobody's had this unbelievable year.
And back to the like gelling part, when the way that they started this season, if you had a like pecking order of like, boom, you're our captain, here's my role, here's my role, here's my role, instead of trying to like figure it out as you go, I bet you they probably snap out of it instead of like constantly wondering, okay, we just lost like to another shitty team in a horrible fashion. Who's gonna be the leader here? Who's gonna talk? Like waiting for the other person to talk, and the other person's waiting for the other person to talk, or something along those lines. So that in itself, like, destined to fail because you put all these pieces together who had really no time in spring training to gel at all. You want to blame the WBC for that. But then you get into the season, and right away, we hear reports of players being upset where they hit in the lineup. Manny and Bogart's having something go on there. Like, maybe it was set up to fail, and we just all couldn't see it because we were blinded by the shiny object.
It can happen in sports a little bit. I mean, it's happening in other sports, right?
Now it's too late.
Basketball team has too many great players not to be good, and basketball's a lot easier to be good with stars, you would think, than baseball. And typically you don't think super team with baseball. Like you just don't. They don't typically add up. Now, World Series not to say the Padres would buy a World Series if they somehow won one. Sure, there have been some years that have been quote unquote bought, right? I mean, the Marlins have tried to do that a couple of times. There are teams that have spent a lot and won a lot, but there's no direct correlation. And there's teams that have spent a lot and failed miserably. Look at the Mets and look at the Padres right now. Carlos, thanks again. He says, but if you buy and have a good August with the deadline additions, you're right back in the hunt, if not a couple of games back because you play contenders. Yeah, there's that. I mean, right. You're playing teams in front of you allows you to pull closer to those teams if you win series against those teams. Yeah. But they got to win those series consistently. And then he says, summary, I understand the front office point of view. Not that I agree. I don't even know if it's their point of view. Just because Joel Sherman is saying they were in on Giolito, and just because Jeff Passan says that they want to, I don't buy all the public positioning. We'll see what happens.
I do. That place is leakier than a faucet, man. Cliche,
I like it.
If they're going after Lucas Giolito, that tells me all I need to know about their mindset.
Maybe they were going to spin him.
Oh yeah, and they're going to trade for Giolito and then package him with Snell and Hader, and then get like even better prospects back. And then by doing that, they've just given up Jackson Merrill.
Right. I like that.
What's better than having one Jackson Merrill? Having two Jackson Merrills.
Click the $ in the chat box if you want to contribute with the super. If you want to make sure we see your comment, please subscribe. If you are here, we have year-round content for Padres fans in season and out of season. And we also have great partners on the channel, like our friends over at Aura and their co-founder, Will, who is a San Diegan and a huge Padres fan and has a great company. ORA.organic, plant-based nutritional products, every single one of them, including their probiotic, which I take daily. Have for over a year. It's an amazing product for digestion, mental health, mental clarity, and more. Brain health. Look up the benefits of a probiotic. They have omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, you can take their omega-3 oil. They have proteins for before workouts or maybe after workouts. When do you take proteins? After workouts. They have pre-workout supplements. They have sleep pills. They have immunity pills. I don't really work out. I go to Orange Theory, but not to get ripped, believe it or not. So if you're looking to get healthier, make sure to check out ORA.organic or click the link in the description down below. I told you about 5 or 6 products. They have dozens more. You can shop at ORA.organic or clicking the link in the description down below. Everyone is looking to get healthier for themselves or their family or their friends. So check them out. Huge supporters of the channel. We couldn't do it without everyone here live or on replay. We couldn't do it without our friends over at Aura. So make sure to check them out at ORA.organic.
Yeah, go there right now. They have everything you need to, live a healthy lifestyle. If you're thinking of taking some supplements, but you don't know where to start at Aura, www.aura.organic. They have everything you need. Go there right now, pick up some stuff, and you'll thank us later.
I like this from James. So most of the people here, he says, are subscribers, and I agree. So we should say like the video. So like the video. I like that.
Like the video.
Yeah, like the video. But here's the thing, James, is as much as you think that, every single night we do a show, we gain subscribers. So because you never know who you're talking to. Yeah. Live or on replay. These shows are doing 2,500 views, roughly 3,000 views over the course of live or on replay. So out of those 3,000 people, at least, let's say, even if it's only 10%, it's their first time here. 10% is 300 people out of 3,000. So there's new people, I think, every night.
Yeah, and all we ask is if you're watching the show right now, hit the like button. That's all. That's it. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. We love this community that has been built. It's kind of been organically. We just started going and promoted it, and then you guys all showed up. So we appreciate you, and just hit that like button and subscribe button, and we're off and running, man.
I do like that.
And girls.
Guys and girls. I don't even know. I'll be honest with you. And we watched this entire game at work. I have no idea what happened. They allowed a couple of home runs. I thought Lugo was good, but he allowed a couple of solo.
Lugo was great.
He can live with a couple of solo home runs.
7 innings, 2 runs.
Yeah. And then offensively, the Padres got even on a bloop from Manny Machado, a break. Great, whatever. And then they put a lot of pressure on against a really good closer in David Bednar. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Juan Soto is pinch hitting. By the way, we haven't talked about that. Juan Soto's health, essentially, and him getting a day off when you have to win a game. But all of a sudden, Juan Soto pinch hits. He walks on 4 pitches. It's a 3-2 game. A run scores. There's only 1 out. And you're set up where a base hit, you win the game. Shoot, a walk, a sac fly, ground ball. You might tie the game and get to an extra innings. And they're very good in extra innings, so you would have lived with that. But it just wasn't meant to be like it hasn't been meant to be so many times. And the Soto thing was a little perplexing for me, Jim, because he's played so often. Hi, Coaster. He's played so often, or maybe Amtrak.
Is that the bandwagon going by your house, letting people off?
Yeah, seriously. No, it's Amtrak. But he's played so often this year. I don't even know if Juan Soto has he played in he's played in a ridiculous number of games.
I think he leads the team in games played.
Yeah, he's missed 1 game, maybe today, something like that.
1 or 2.
So they give him a day off, and remember what we said yesterday. Tomorrow is not off day. You didn't earn the off day because you lost game 1 to Pittsburgh. You need to win tomorrow. And then they sit him, but he's got this finger injury, and he's getting an MRI, and He pinch hit. They didn't even want to pinch hit him, and they wanted to give him Thursday off as well. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of the Soto situation because, I mean, let's be honest, there was literally no hope if Juan Soto were to miss any time because of some type of injury.
That would be kind of like the official, this is it.
Right.
You know,
yeah, we got to shut him down.
You lose Juan Soto for an extended period of time. No. I mean, just no. He's been your best offensive player. But it's just not it. It's just not. It just, you know. So in this game, by the way, like Tatis hit one that he probably thought to himself, "Are you?"
I mean, he was bent over at the waist like he was punched in the gut. I mean, you feel it sucks. It's like they've had so many of those moments. Like, oh, line to ball caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, is it luck? Is it fortune? Is it whatever?
Like, is this season going to be chalked up to bad luck? I mean, that's just.
I mean, the truth is, did you see that? Like, would it have donged or whatever the Twitter account is? Like, how many yards would that have left? I would imagine at least 10 or 12 would be my guess.
He also made an amazing catch in right field, proving again.
Let's get to that super. Actually, I mean, he's had an amazing defensive year.
He's going to win the Gold Glove, even though it means
played
nothing.
Brilliant right field. I agree. James, thank you. He says, "How about Tatis and his great catches today?" Hashtag Tatis. I mean, he has played impeccable defense. This team is an amazing defensive team.
Yep.
And that's the other thing that makes it perplexing. Great defense, great starting pitching, elite closer, 4 MVP caliber players, and we can argue that, but all-stars, Hall of Fame caliber career type players.
Yeah.
And you can argue it, but you get the point.
In their prime.
Right. In their prime. Nobody's 39 on this team. No one. Nobody's 35 in that
Carpenter.
Group. In that group, though.
Yeah.
Yet 5 games under 500 with everything I just said. Weird. Really weird.
The thing is, and a career year from Ha-Seong Kim.
Right. 5 WAR, 5.5 WAR. Amazing year.
Like, amazing season for him.
Amazing. He's always on base.
So
I don't understand it.
It's I just am. I can't wait to hear what they say. Like, what is the excuse going to be,
or what went wrong?
Yeah, what are they going to say went wrong?
How are they going to? How are they extra innings?
Dude, if they go the bad luck route, I mean, give me a fucking break, bro.
I know. I agree.
I mean, you can have bad luck for you can have bad luck for like a series or like a couple of weeks, but I mean, not.
What's the record now in 1-run games? Because today's a 1-run loss, like 6-18 or something. It's
6-18, 6-19. Like, that's not bad luck. Those stars aren't good.
JD's third, thank you. He says Pirates pitching masterclass in the 9th, walking Soto. I mean, with hindsight, yeah, I guess so.
And I wasn't even honestly like watching it because we were doing a show at the time, so I wasn't like thinking about ahead. But JD's third's right. Like, what Bednar saw there, and I think might have what would have been what was relayed to him. Genius. Like, I ain't pitching a Soto. I got Cowley or whatever the hell is his name, and I got Grisham up after him. I'll give up a run here, but I have faith that I can get these other 2 guys out over Soto, who has been like, you know, one of the best hitters.
I'll give this one to you from Pedro. You can tee off on this one. I'm not going to react to it, but if you want to, you can, or I can.
Oh, why couldn't Soto just slap something out to the outfield if so worthy at $500 million? Yeah, okay.
Do you want to reply or no? No, we already did.
I'm just over it. At this point, you're just trolling.
I know. That's why I'm laughing. So I don't really know. I mean, what I do know is that this weekend is really interesting because we knew you get the big move well in advance of August 1st. And now Giolito's off the board. Ohtani's staying. We're getting real news. We're getting real trades. And here we are. It's the weekend. This is when the trades are going to be made. I think they could offload at any point. If I'm being tomorrow's an off day, I think they could offload. I think it's maybe a little early, but certainly Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, Saturday, Sunday, they could make real moves, and that's 48 hours away or whatever it is, 72 hours away. So it's all possible at any point. I mean, it could happen right now. I'm not kidding. I mean, they could make a trade right now. I mean, why wouldn't you? You have an off day tomorrow. I think the writing's on the wall with where you are, and you know, it's no secret. This is the team they are.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, thank you. He says, how about this? What is good about this team? Let's get some positive takes on the season. What say you? I just said
We just
some
said it.
amazing things. I think the starting pitching's been great. I think Josh Hader's been great. I think you've got 4 position players in their prime, the big 4. Kim has been great. There's a lot to like about this team other than the results.
Which is why it's so maddening. Snell is right now the Cy Young frontrunner, which is crazy to say.
Right.
Joe's had a really good year. Joe's had a really quiet, good
has.
season.
That's a good point.
Ha-Seong Kim has had a career year. I mean,
Not
just
close.
amazing season for Ha-Seong Kim. Juan Soto's had a really good season. Maybe it's not the Juan Soto numbers that everyone wants, but dude, when we have a 930 OPS or 920 OPS, you're having a good year. Okay, he's gonna hit 30 home runs if he's healthy. You know, he's gonna have around 80 to 90 RBIs. Like, he's having a good season. And then Josh Hader, is this right? He has an ERA under 1.
I think that's right, or it's right at 1. Yeah,
it's like a 0.97 ERA.
That's good, right?
So yeah, I mean, those things are all very positive for this team. And I think Fernando Tatis Jr. has had a really good season for everything considered, and him coming back after not playing for an entire year.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so those are absolute positive things about this year. It's just the problem is, I think the negative, you know, kind of outweighs. Seth Lugo's had a really good season. Michael Wacha, when he was healthy, was having a great year.
It's like the problem is the record, which it's like, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Unfortunately, all that matters is the record. And because the expectations were so high, and this isn't the 2016 Padres, all that matters. If this is 2016 and they were 49-54, if that's what the record is, and they were 6.5 game out with a lot of work to do, you say, you know what? There's been some good here. I mean, we didn't have high expectations. We hung around for a little bit. Maybe we can get some pieces back. So, but it's not 2016, unfortunately. It's 2023 with the 3rd highest payroll in baseball.
And if you look at like the negatives of this year, Machado having a horrific first 2.5 months, Bogarts having a really bad overall season, Cronenworth having a disaster of a year, the bullpen imploding in on itself, other than Hader, for the last month and a half. Too many times have we seen Ryan Weathers in pitch games, start games. You've got nothing out of the catcher spot for 3 months. The bench is non-existent. The DH spot is a fucking disaster. And Grisham is Grisham. It's crazy how those things are the giant anchor that's bringing this team down, with all the positives we said, with like Snell and Musgrove,
I know,
Soto and Kim and Hader.
And we didn't, and we said earlier 5 minutes ago, the collective defense, like defensive run save for this team is really impressive. This is a really good defensive team.
Right. Like, all those things, you would think they outweigh the shit, but apparently it doesn't. This year, at least.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's incredible. Zach, thank you. He says, Xander in postgame said you can't control where you hit the ball.
Did he say that?
Tony Gwynn rolling in his grave. Manny, but does he always have to be such a D to the media scrum? We played Manny today on John and Jim. I didn't find it overly egregious, to be honest. He's frustrated, and I do understand it. And, you know, maybe some of it is his own doing with the way he's played this year, although he's been really good in July, and it's maybe too little too late. Manny can be tough. I mean, he can. I mean, he wears it on his sleeve, and he's not scared to let you know about it. The whole you can't control where you hit the ball. I would say this, Zach, and that's fair with Tony Gwynn, but it's like you can't control where they defend you. Well, defend you. I mean, you kind of can now without the shift, but you get my point. They line up, and there's so much more data now.
Dude, every team in baseball works around the shift easily by putting a guy right up the middle.
Right.
I mean, how many balls this year have you seen hit?
A ton.
Like rockets up the middle, and they're like, "Why is there a shortstop
today?"
Yeah, like, why is the shortstop or why the second baseman staying right there?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the shift was banned, even though it's technically not shifting.
They got spray charts on everyone. They know where balls get hit. They know how to pitch guys to get balls hit some, certain areas.
So I think I agree with you on Manny. I don't have a problem with what he said today. There have been times in the past where I'm like, bro, just answer the fucking question. Like, stop this with the media. Okay, they have to ask you these questions because you put them in the situation to ask those questions by not performing. Like, what are they supposed to say? There's no one, and you're the captain of this team. You're the leader of this team. So you answer the fucking question.
Yeah, there is something. You're handsomely paid. You're the leader. When it's good, you're going to get credit. When it's bad, you'll get blame. You'll be asked about it. You've been here for years, and you will for years in the future. It's your team.
Come on, man.
It really is. Guys, if you are here, if you're looking for the best place and easiest place to play fantasy sports, make sure to check out Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You don't have to deposit $100. You can deposit 10 and get a 100% deposit match up to $100 by using promo code PADSWRAP. They've got football drafts about to begin. They have Major League Baseball drafts going on for literally tomorrow, going on right now. They have pick'ems going on that we've been telling you about as well. I mean, who wouldn't want to take higher than 7 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer tomorrow in the KBO or the Nippon Professional Baseball League or wherever?
The guy's still pitching?
Who knows? But, I mean, everything, whatever it is, we got soccer, okay, higher and lower. We have KBO. We have Nippon Professional Baseball League, which is where Bauer is. We have Major League Baseball. So the pick'ems, you get 2 or more correct, and you're winning all the way up to 5, and you can insure it. You don't have to get every pick right, and you can still win. So UnderdogFantasy.com, the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports, whether it's drafts, where, by the way, it can be an auto draft, or you can just draft. They'll take care of everything else. There's no trades. There's no waivers. The pick'ems, simple hires or lowers, right, across all sports, and you can win. So UnderdogFantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app, use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, promo code PADSWRAP, and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. What else do you have for me, Jim?
This is an off day tomorrow.
And with that being said, where's this thing? If you want this, get it before it sells out. A number of you yesterday picked this up. It is the Soto Machado Tatis 3-pack mini big head bobblehead set. There are 144 of these. That's it. Once it sells out, it's gone. We've told you about 7 or 8 bobbleheads this year. They've all sold out, maybe minus one. Really cool collector set in the City Connect look. You got Soto healthy, presumably there. You've got Tatis making big plays and right. You got Machado talking to the media. And you can have this mini big head bobblehead set. And it's going to sell out because there's only 144. And the link is pinned at the top of the chat. It's available right now for pre-order. Click the link pinned in the top of the chat. And again, our friends at Foco, Jim, you've been talking about them. They have really unbelievable products, especially in the bobblehead space. And they have so many more products other than bobbleheads, but in the bobblehead space, they're second to none.
Do you know how big these bobbleheads are?
I do, Jim. There? I do. I'm going to tell you.
Maybe like hit the read more button.
Yeah, read more would make sense. They are 4.5 inches each.
So like probably the size of my like iPhone. I think this is like 4 inches.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
That's a good sized bobblehead.
Look at the back. Look at the hair.
It's cool. Okay. For this price to get 3 like legit bobbleheads of Soto, Manny, and Tatis, no freaking brainer. No brainer. Go right now. Like John said, these things are going to sell out quickly. Pick them up because the quality is the best. And if you were missing out on some bobbleheads that you wish you could have gotten, like the Snell bobblehead the other day, or the Darvish bobblehead the other day, and then the Snell bobblehead later this week. Like Manny's had a bobblehead this year. Those are the way to go.
And then there's this from Quan.
Yeah,
might be fair. Maybe fair. Click the link pinned in the chat if you want to pick up that bobblehead set, or click the link in the description down below to get over to our friends at Foco. We'll be back tomorrow on John and Jim, 3:00, reacting to trade deadline news, and then back Friday night. Padres, Rangers, Bruce Bochy back in town, Hall of Fame weekend. We'll be back.
Hall of Fame Friday night or Saturday night?
I don't know the answer to that. Does anyone know? Put it in the chat.
I think it's Friday night.
You've been saying Friday. I would think Saturday makes more sense, but you've been saying Friday.
I'm probably wrong.
Rich would know. Rich, what's the answer?
Because it's not just Boch, it's also Jake Peavy and
it should be awesome. It'll be awesome.
who else? Who else is getting inducted? I blanked on his name.
Thank you, run it back. Very kind.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's a little bit bigger than your penis. Nice. Funny.
This is a question for Jim.
Pedro? Yes.
Kristen's talking about it too, by the way.
John Morse. Thank you.
Oh, John Morse is part of the class. Okay.
Yeah, I completely just blanked on his name.
Yeah.
I knew I had the visual in my head. I'm like, who is this again?
It'll be a very, very cool night. Very cool night.
Yeah. They'll lose 13-2.
Will Myers in San Diego, by the way.
Great. If the big move is they sign Will Myers, fire everybody.
Maybe. If you're here, guys, thank you. Subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the super thanks. If you're here on replay, we really do appreciate that. Please support our partners, Mark Nimitz, our title sponsor. Any insurance need, he's going to save you money and time. Click the link in the description down below. Aura, plant-based nutritional products. Click the link in the description down below. Underdog Fantasy, promo code PODSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And our friends over at FOCO, click the link down below or the link that is pinned in the live chat if you want that mini bobblehead set. And by the way, if you use promo code WrapUpShow10, WrapUpShow10 in all caps, you will get 10% off your order if you're not pre-ordering items. All right, we're going to catch up again with you guys tomorrow. Did I miss anything here late? You know what? I did. I missed JD's third. Thank you, JD's third. He says San Diego coaches can win. Bochy, Roberts, Tingler, all first. What were just in general? What am I missing? I like it.
Cool.
Where's Tingler, by the way? Minnesota, right? I got you. Can win. Bochy first place, Roberts first place, Tingler. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you, JD's third. All right, we'll see you tomorrow on the radio, 3 p.m.